Today we're diving into the fascinating world of India's three major religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. There's so much to explore.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this topic. So, where should we start?
Well, let's start with Hinduism since it's the largest and oldest. It's such a complex and diverse tradition that has evolved over
Right.
millennia.
Definitely. It's amazing how it's like absorbed so many different ideas over time.
Exactly. And central to Hinduism are concepts like dharma, which is moral duty and
hmm
karma, the idea that every action has consequences.
And moksha, the liberation from the cycle of rebirth, right?
Yes, yes. Moksha it's like the ultimate goal, to break free from samsara, the endless cycle of birth and death, which is pretty
Yeah,
profound when you think about it.
it really is. And the sacred texts like the Vedas and the epics, the Mahabharata and Ramayana, they've really shaped Hindu practices.
Absolutely. Those texts are not just religious
Right.
scriptures, but also literary masterpieces that convey moral and philosophical lessons.
You know, what always strikes me is how ritualistic and symbolic Hinduism is. The festivals, the ceremonies, it's so rich.
Yeah, it's incredibly vibrant. The rituals are a way to connect with the divine and the cosmos, and
hmm
they vary so much across different regions.
That's true. So, moving on to Buddhism, it emerged as a reform movement within Hinduism, didn't it?
Exactly. Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, was born into a Hindu family, but he sought a
Right.
different path to enlightenment.
He challenged the ritualism and caste system prevalent at the time, right?
Yes, precisely. He promoted a path of mindfulness, ethical living, and meditation,
hmm
focusing on personal experience rather than rituals.
The Four Noble Truths are central to his teachings. They outline the nature of suffering and how to overcome it, correct?
Absolutely. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path provide a practical framework for achieving nirvana,
Yeah,
the end of suffering.
but although Buddhism originated in India, its influence there waned over time. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's a complex issue. Some say it merged back into Hinduism,
Right.
others point to historical factors like invasions and changing political dynamics.
That's interesting. Yet globally, Buddhism spread and became influential in many other countries.
Exactly. It thrived in places like China, Japan, Tibet,
hmm
and has had a significant impact worldwide.
And its legacy in India is still present in art, architecture, and philosophy.
Absolutely. Monuments like the Ajanta and Ellora caves are testaments to its enduring legacy,
Yeah.
and Buddhist philosophy still influences Indian thought.
Now let's talk about Jainism. It's another religion that emerged around the same time.
Yes, founded by Mahavira, Jainism places a strong emphasis on asceticism and nonviolence, ahimsa, to an extraordinary degree,
Right.
even to the extent of sweeping the ground before walking to avoid harming insects.
That's such a profound commitment to nonviolence. Their strict ethical principles are truly remarkable.
Definitely, Jainism teaches that liberation is achieved through self purification and renunciation of worldly attachments, which requires
hmm
immense discipline.
Their reverence for all life forms has also inspired environmental consciousness and vegetarianism.
Exactly. They were advocating for environmental sustainability long before it was a global movement, which is pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
However, I sometimes wonder if such strict asceticism is practical in today's world.
That's a fair point. The rigorous practices can be challenging, but many
Right.
Jains adapt their practices to modern life while maintaining their core values.
But doesn't that risk diluting the original teachings?
Well, adaptation doesn't necessarily mean dilution. It's about finding a balance between tradition and contemporary life, which is
hmm
something all religions grapple with.
That's true. And perhaps that's why Hinduism, with its inherent flexibility, remains prevalent.
Exactly. Hinduism's diversity allows it to encompass a wide range of beliefs and practices, making it accessible to
Yeah.
many.
And yet, Buddhism's teachings on mindfulness have become incredibly popular in the West.
Absolutely. Practices like meditation and mindfulness have been embraced for their mental health benefits, bridging
Right.
cultural gaps.
It's fascinating how these ancient teachings remain relevant.
Definitely, they address fundamental human concerns: suffering, ethics,
hmm
purpose, which are timeless.
So, in essence, these three religions, while distinct, reflect shared values and have profoundly influenced India's spiritual heritage.
Couldn't agree more. They offer diverse paths to understanding the self and the universe, enriching
Yeah.
human experience.
Well, this has been a really enlightening discussion.
Yes, it has. Thanks so much for joining me in this deep dive, and thanks to
My
our
pleasure.
listeners for tuning in.